I have to apologize to my ever so loved and incredibly cozy SteelSeries Arctic Nova headset, right along with the ever so incredibly stinking cozy Razer Black Sharks. Because the new Turtle Beach Atlas Air wireless gaming headset is hands down the most cozy gaming headset I have ever worn. So in your box, of course, you're gonna get your headset. You get this little carrying bag, which also has another bag inside of it, so you can put your headset and then your cables if you're one to use those. I personally never do. You get your USB A to C charging cable. You also get a nice, long, lightweight 3.5 cable with volume control right in the middle, which we'll talk more about later. You get your dongle, which is USB A, and then you also get this folder with this one little quick start guide in it. Like, Turtle Beach, you don't need to make this dang folder just for this little piece of paper. Throw it in a box and that's fine. And also, inside your box, the microphone on the headset is not attached. It's just going to be detached right in there. And then, of course, you can just plug it right in. So, of course, we have to kick it off with comfort, as I always do, but definitely with my statement in the beginning of the video, right? And I want to talk about the weight of this headset first. We're going to slap it on a scale with the microphone attached. Let me get that out so you guys can see it as well. We're coming right at 301 grams. Now let's go on and take off this microphone. As I stated, it is detachable, and then we are getting 292 grams. And no joke, no shenanigans, this thing is incredibly lightweight, which is crazy to see with all the features. We just saw that in the Nova 5s, but now with these packed 50mm drivers being a little bit more bulky, being this lightweight is just amazing. Anyways, moving on to the ear pads here. As far as dimensions, they're pretty much straight circles as you've seen with older Atlas headsets. Plenty wide, plenty long, plenty deep right here all the way around. But I want to pull you in a little bit more to get a better look at these ear pads. They're like this silky sports material all the way around and then on the inside as well. Let me go on and pop them off because yes, you can interchange these ear pads as you see right there. They just tuck right in through there. But looking at this, you can see the ear pad, little silky bit in there. And then all the way around here is silky bit. Just on the bottom down here, you have this little bit of cloth. So there is no pleather in there locking in the sound. With this being an open back headset, I'm probably jumping all around and ahead of myself here. But yes, the sound does come in and out of this headset. But that goes right in play with an open back headphone as well. But let me tell you what, these things are incredibly plush, incredibly cozy, and your ears just about never get hot with them. Now let's go and talk about this weird headband up here. As you're seeing, a little bit of mesh, but underneath that, you actually have this elastic bit, which is pretty much what it's resting on. If you look on the inside of the headset here, that's how you're gonna get your adjustments. You peel that back, and then you just pin it down right there. It attaches via Velcro, and you can see, hopefully you can see it in the camera, you got a couple notches right over here. So you know wherever you set that Velcro, whether it be lower or higher, you can always save that position. When most headsets are pretty much just Velcro it, and that's where it's going to be. So really cool that they put those markers in there. But as far as this little mesh bit up here, I will tell you, it's pretty much just cosmetic because your head is pretty much just resting on that headband right there and there. So again, this little mesh bit is just a style piece. Also, as far as the ear cups, you don't have standard swivel or adjustment as we just saw in the headband there, but they have these floating drivers, these floating ear cups now. So you can see they got these rubber bands right there, and then it goes onto the inside of the driver. Hopefully you can catch it, and then also there on the outside. So it's really not latched into anything or connected, just these three looped around little bands right there, and that's how they move around, and it is just absolutely perfect. Let me tell you what, when you take this headset and put it on your head, whether you wear glasses, you got a bald head, maybe a lot of hair, whatever, just putting this on the head is like, oh my gosh, it makes me nerd out. This is amazing. Like I know you guys are like, dude, this guy's a goofball, right? But no joke, I get these nerd chills, right? This is why I do this stuff. This is why I love doing this. Putting this on my head makes me so excited, nerdy, and just smile. It is so incredibly cozy. Turtle Beach, you guys hit this out of the park times 10. This is hands down the most stinking cozy gaming headset I have ever put on my head. I don't even know if I talked about it on my head yet. The clamping force is light. As you can see, it moves around. The ear pads are silky, so it will budge if you're sitting there headbanging with your headset on, which I doubt many of us are doing. If you wear glasses, you don't even feel them there. You don't feel them there. Again, on top of my head being bald, there's no pressure right there. It's not adjusting mid-sessions. My gosh, it's just hands down phenomenally stinking cozy. Whew. Okay, now that we got that out of the way, let me try to move on here and let's talk about the build. Obviously, with them being incredibly lightweight, as you're seeing throughout here, then with these rubber bands, you're questioning, well, how's the build, man? Are they kind of chintzy? They are all plastic, so that plays into the lightweight. But yo, check this out. I'm gonna twist the heck out of this. I haven't twisted any headset. Look, I'll take that ear cup and go even further down there. Now, of course, you're not gonna be doing that. Why I do that in my videos is I would rather break this and say, okay, there's a weak point right here, so you know about it to be careful, or you avoid it if something does break. That's why I want to twist mine up and go really crazy with them to let you guys know. Now, as far as these rubber bands over here, your ear cups are moving out. You know, I don't see any issue with them because you can move them around like crazy. As far as replacement, none of this pops off, so I don't know. If one of those corrodes over time, maybe that will be a concern. Not too sure. As far as my use, I don't get worried with them at all, moving around on that. But again, maybe over time, will those rubber bands or those bands start heating up and what do you call it? Just kind of getting a little crackly and then rip off. Not too sure. Only time can tell on that. But again, the build is absolutely flawless. Now let's go and take a look at the features and functions on this headset. And I have my phone out here because you can use the Swarm 2 software on this, which I'll give you a rundown on, and microphone test via Bluetooth and 2.4, which by the way, you do have your dongle here. There's no switch on this, so it does work on Nintendo Switch and then the PlayStation. It pretty much works on every platform that I tested it on besides the Xbox via wirelessly. But of course, being 3.5, which you have your connection right down here, you can just plug it in there right into the controller and then you get those functions. And then you have a volume wheel on the 3.5 because whenever you're plugged up via 3.5, the volume wheel on the outside of the headset is not going to work. This is only going to be whenever you're in a wireless situation. And it's pretty cool. When you're on a Nintendo Switch, you actually adjust your wireless or your volume deal here and it actually shows up on a screen, so it syncs up. Really cool. It's not just PC as Turtle Beach kind of places this headset at. Anyways, on the bottom of the headset, you have your power button. You have your quick switch button, which goes from Bluetooth to 2.4 because it is not simultaneous. It's one or the other. We're seeing that a really big trend here lately. You got your USB-C charge port, which you get up to 50 hours of battery life with this. And then you have your Bluetooth pairing button over here. And of course, your microphone, it's flipped down to active, flipped up to mute. As I showed you, it is also detachable right along with that included windscreen. Now I want to go ahead and give you the microphone test. And the first mic test we're going to do is via Bluetooth here. And I'm going to show you the app controls on us. Then we'll swing over to the Swarm software on PC and I'll actually run the microphone via 2.4. And again, we're going live right here together. So you can see you got master volume, which I can go on the headset and then adjust that right there. You see it's adjusting on my phone right there. So then you come up here and actually crank your master volume up in there as well. Now coming over here, you got game presets, boost, signature sound, and vocal boost, and you get tones in the headset whenever all that is adjusting as well. The weird thing about this, as you can notice in the 600s and 500 review coming up, they have a mode button on them, which you can cycle through these presets. On this one, there's no button to cycle through, which I wish there was. Maybe that'll be, again, I don't know, a firmware update later on. But again, kind of a weird and a stinker that that's not there. Coming over here, we have the microphone option. So you got mic mute, which you can flip up on the headset as well. Sensitivity, as you can see right here, we're pretty much at, does it give us a number? It's not giving us a number, but let's go ahead and crank it up. Now we are set to 100 on the microphone. Now I'm going to crank it down to whatever number we're at. It's at like 5%, 10% maybe. And let's go right back up to here, which is, I guess, right around 75%. Noise gate, we'll go and click that on, which I got a tone in the headset as well. So noise gate is on at 100% right now. Just seeing what that sounds like. If it's kind of toning it down, my AC is running as well. Let's go and tone that down a little bit here and see if we get that updated as well. Back up to 100, seeing what that sounds like. Now turning it off, which the tone just let me know I turned it off as well. Mic monitoring, we'll come in here. This is probably right around 80, which I talk about this in the wired mic test as well. Well, not the wired, but the 2.4 mic test. The mic monitoring has got to be cranked up pretty loud to hear anything. Once I get down here like halfway, it's almost like I hear nothing. It's almost not even there. So again, it's got to crank up a little bit. It does sound airy and tinny. Not my favorite. Mic monitoring. Open back headphones so you can hear yourself talk anyways. No need for it. Equalizer. Signature sound right now. Now we are on full, as it gave me the tone in the headset. Now we are on clear. This is the microphone with clear.
Now it just did smooth as I get multiple beeps in the headset as I switch both of them. Now we're going to go over here to the settings. So you got your voice tones or the prompts as I'm getting in there, or if you switch over from Bluetooth to 2.4, it lets you know. And then over here, transmitter, the brightness. I'm going to show you this whenever you have it plugged in as well. You got your brightness on the lowest, or you can get it all the way. Well, if it's actually connected, it's not connected, so it's not letting me adjust it. I'll show you more about this in the 2.4 adjustment bit as well. And then coming over here to settings, you got your firmware and stuff and all that basic stuff. Really cool that they got technical support right in here. So you can click that and then again get a case going if you need be. All right, so now let's go ahead and do the microphone test here. And as you can see, we're in the Swarm 2 software. It's in beta. I am using new Burst 2 Air and the keyboard, so make sure to subscribe and hit the bell so you can catch that coverage as well. Before we get into this whole dive, I want to let you know my PC is chugging there. I have a ceiling fan on, my door is open, so any of that reverberation, I don't got much sound dampening in my game room. It's pretty much just standard. So, anyways, just so you know my environment here, going into the software, and again, you're hearing the microphone as we go through this. You can see you got your audio, your master volume, which you can control right on the side of the headset. Dial it down and then bring it up over here. It beeps when it gets to the full highest. You got superhuman hearing, which you can, well, you got to select it to be able to choose the different ones. You all know superhuman hearing is not my favorite. It really kind of just messes with the sound way too much. It's like exaggerated 7.1 sound. Not my favorite type bit. Chat mix over here, game to chat. And then over here, you got chat boost. So again, it's going to boost up that microphone so you can hear a little bit more. Waves 3D. I dabbled with this a little bit. Um, it's better than superhuman hearing. You don't notice much of a difference. Again, superhuman hearing again is exaggerated, so you notice a massive difference with Wave 3D. I don't notice much of a difference. I honestly preferred it off just so I can have my core solid sound. High bandwidth audio. And then you can set this on in the software. Then you have to come down here into, let's go to our input devices. Then you come over here in your Windows setting and you can see you can get it down here to 96,000 hertz, 24 bits. So make sure to change this as well. And then in your Swarm software also. Coming over here to the microphone, same type of bit. Again, you got mute, or you can flip up the microphone, which you also get that tone in the headset. And then, of course, you got here the information. Sensitivity, you can see I'm right at 69. Let's go on and crank. Well, it's going to update up here. Now it says up to date. Now we got that volume set to 100. Again, of course, it's going to depend what the microphone setting is within your system. Let's go on and bring it down to like 27. It says up to date, and you'll see what that sounds like, say, now it is up to date, halfway, seeing what that is. And we'll get right back over. Let's put it at 75%. Now it is saying up to date, and that's 75%. Mic monitoring. So you click it on, and right now it's at 100%. And I sound very airy, very tinny. I sound like a SteelSeries microphone in my ear, if that makes it any easier to understand at 100%. Now, when I come down here to say 70%, 77%, I can hear a mild pinch. I'd say when you get up here to 80%, it might be a little bit more of that manageable, kind of where you hear it a little bit. 90% is maybe kind of right there. When you get to 100%, it's a little too loud. 90%, it's, I don't know, maybe that's that perfect spot. When you get down here to like 60s or 70s, you almost hear nothing. It's almost like no mic monitoring, even up here again around the 70s, I don't know. I hear a little bit right there, but it's mild. When you come down here to like the 20s and 30s, again, it might as well just be off because you hear nothing. Again, to really experience it, you get up into the 80s there. Anyways, turning that off, again, this headset is open back and you got those cloth ear pads. So you hear yourself talking anyway. So I don't think you're going to need the mic monitoring. Anyways, moving off from mic monitoring, noise gate here. So we're going to test this together. Again, it is off. Let it update. Now it's updated and you can hear the noise gate. So noise gate right now is set to 27. Now let's go on and update it. Up to date. We're at around 74, 75-ish. You're hearing what that sounds like with the noise gate. Now let's go on. It's updated and we are set to 100%, just seeing what that noise gate sounds like. Again, if you're hollering back there, so it's not going to clip or pop or do anything crazy like that. Let's go on, turn that off right there. And then we'll go to high bandwidth microphone. Let's go ahead and turn high bandwidth microphone on. And again, you're going to have to go into your settings. Where is my microphone settings? Oh, we're in that one right there. So let's go back in here to input, go to our Atlas. We're going to click that. And right over here, you got 16-bit tape recorder quality, 16,000 or 48,000. So make sure you change it in there. When you switch it into Swarm, at least as of right now, it doesn't just automatically change over. So again, whenever you hit this, make sure you change it in your settings as well. Coming down further into the software, you have the 10-band EQ that you can adjust, and right along with the microphone. Again, we got the hat bandwidth on. We're on signature sound on the microphone. Let it update, and now we are on full on the microphone. This is what the microphone sound like with full. Let's go on and let it update, and we'll go to clarity. And by the way, as I'm changing this, I'm getting little beeps in the microphone as well. Now we're on clarity. Coming over to here, you have it on smooth. Does the microphone sound any different? What you're hearing before at the basic core was signature sound, which is pretty much flat. But then you want more bass, come in here and pull out more bass if you want, and you can get that. And then right up here, set it back to that. Coming down here, device status, battery status is at 100%, and the battery's lasted pretty well with this as well. Let you know if your drivers and everything are up to date, what it's connected to. Auto shut off, you can adjust your times over here. Battery notification, I just leave mine off. And then the voice prompts, which is whenever you switch like to Bluetooth and stuff or those tones, you can change it over here, which again, you got the notifications to tell you as well. So the software is pretty straightforward. You got a lot to use, but it's quite simple to adjust as well. The thing I want to point out with it again is that the settings are kind of weird because they almost got to be close to maxed out to notice the difference from, again, say if the mic monitoring, for example, it's got to be up towards the 80s to really be able to experience that.
Now, I think I forgot to mention it in the mic test, but I want to show you here again on the dongle, that little LED bit right there. It's always flashing. And again, as you saw in the app, you can control the brightness from 0 to 100, but even at 0, it's still there. And it's noticeable, definitely if you're playing in the dark. I'm showing you in a light, and it's just annoying. This happened on their whatever the Pro headset on a little with the puck, and that light always flashed. And it's something I told them. I said, man, we got to do something to make this be able to remove. And it just always flashed when you're charging a battery or something. And for them to do it here, it's like, come on, Turtle Beach, give me the option to turn the stinking light off. That thing is so annoying. Now let's go and talk about the sound of this headset. Being the first wireless open back gaming headset, and I believe in the beginning of the video I stated 50mm drivers. They're actually 40mm drivers. The frequency range of 20 to 40,000. And again, they are open back. And as you saw with those ear pads, they're fully cloth. So yes, sound does come in and sound is going to go out. Now, again, you can use this wirelessly on the Nintendo Switch, the PlayStation, the PC. As far as Xbox, you have to run wired, which is 3.5, and it doesn't have to be powered on. You just power it off and your volume controlled there. But of course, you don't get all the other features and functions, but really cool to have that backup source that does not have to be powered on. But talking about the core sound of this headset, being open back, you all know I'm not a huge fan of open back headphones because I got a son and a dog, and I don't want to, when I'm in a round or a story game and I'm deeply immersed into it, I don't want to hear barking and hollering and this, that, or the other, you know what I mean? My son's also gaming, he's talking to friends over there, so I don't want to hear all that. And I really didn't get an excessive amount like a real true pair of open back headphones. But going right in line with that, saying, okay, well, I'm not getting all those excess sounds. Am I still getting that open back experience here? So I'm playing Diablo, Destiny, and then Star Wars Jedi Survivor. So we got a little mixture right there. And I will tell you, this headset is a little fuller. It's not bass heavy. It's not old Turtle Beach bass heavy, but there is a little bit more bass. It's quite similar sound to the SteelSeries Nova line of headsets, which I really like. I think it's that really manageable sound that a lot of people can get down with, I did dabble with my own EQ in this using my basic Smiley curve, which I really did like. Signature sound in bass and treble boost is also very nice on this, where you get dialogue and then you also get some of that body. It's not punchy by any means. It's really not. So if you're expecting a lot of bass, you're not going to get that here. But you're also not getting screechy, piercing highs, all right? So, and I think what's happening with the bass, actually I can pretty much guarantee you what's happening with the bass here, is the open back. It's letting it breathe out and be airy. So if you're not one that really likes that bass thumpy type of sound, locking it in, you're not going to get that here. So maybe that's a pro or a con for you. I can tell you with the 500s and 600s, which you're going to cover soon, one of them comes with leather pads or pleather. The other ones come with cloth pad. And just clear as day, with them packing the same drivers and such, the 500s holding that bass since they're using the pleather pads here. So maybe swap out your pads if that's something you want. Me personally, the pads are so cozy here, I would not. But again, it's still getting that sound that I would like playing Jedi Survivor, where I'm still getting that dialogue and I'm hearing my lightsaber swing around and everything. Even in Diablo, whether I'm running wireless or 3.5, I'm still getting that nice immersed, detailed sound. Now, if you want to hear about FPS games, I really don't play many FPS games anymore. I dabble with a little bit of Halo Tactical Slayer here and there, a little bit, but I'm not serious into FPS anymore. I play a lot of story games, a lot of PvE type of games, you know? So I can't really state, are they that great for FPS, which a lot of people like to say open back's better for FPS. I never agree with that, right? Because again, if you're FPS, you're going to notice the pros on stage playing FPS, they got their IEMs underneath their headphones or some really locked in closed headphones because you don't want to hear that other stuff. If you're using this in your house and you're playing a high intense round of Valorant, Counter-Strike, or Call of Duty, whatever, you're going to hear everything else going on, your AC kicking on, your PC kicking on. You know, that's the downfalls of open back headphones, you know, and you're going to experience that here. So, you know, not just about it letting the sound breathe out, you're going to get all those other sounds in and stuff. So again, that's where I don't think open backs are better for FPS. That's just my personal opinion. But open backs for a story game, I really like them because again, if I got a ship coming in or something, I don't want that bass to really overtake everything. It's got to be a really good pair of headphones or headset to have something like that where there's a whole lot of bass coming in, a ship coming in, or an intense battle to still be able to get that dialogue and those details, right? And that's the good thing I like about open backs is it lets some of that excessive sound that would get trapped in there sometimes breathe out and still let that detail perform. And that's what you got right here. You really did. It was just, again, such a fantastic sound across every game and across whatever connection I was using. I really enjoyed my time gaming with this. Now, one side note I want to mention about the sound of this headphone, as I mentioned also in the software, make sure you go in there and adjust those things. If you want that high quality type sound, make sure to tweak those things in your settings. But also on the headphone itself, adjusting the volume with this wheel, it's just like that side tone bit. Whenever you crank it down, like almost below 50 or 30s, it almost sounds like it's off. And then when you jump up above like 60 or 70, it gets super loud. And that's, of course, where the headphone really comes to life, but it's not really linear and smooth as far as those volume adjustments. It's almost like nothing, medium, and high, if that makes sense. So hopefully that can be a firmware adjustment so I can get those micro tweaks in there, because I caught myself kind of blasting it all the time because if I went down a little bit, it was again too low. So again, hopefully that can be tweaked in a firmware adjustment, but it's a little bit weird when you're trying to dial in that perfect volume. Now the Turtle Beach Atlas Air is going to come in at $180. And let me tell you what, being underneath $200, what it's packing, I absolutely recommend and love this headset. Again, you guys hear me state it all the time, right? I'll take a lightweight plastic headset over a heavy duty metal headset. You might be thinking Odyssey Maxwell's. Amazing headset, but I don't catch myself using them much because they are uncomfortably heavy for long sessions. You put something like this on, you're just going to game all day. You know what I mean? And it does have that Bluetooth. Yeah, simultaneous Bluetooth would be cool. But again, being able to get your phone calls is really all we need, you know? I don't listen to music while I game. Having a 3.5 port right down there and the app control, it's doing everything I want. I do think there's a few things that need to be tweaked, again, with that side tone being adjusted, the volume being able to adjust, and I hope they implement a mode button where I can cycle through some of those EQ presets right there. So again, hopefully that stuff gets tweaked with firmware updates, but even as now, as it's sitting, this headset is amazing. And yes, 110%, I highly recommend it. I'm going to continue using it.